Hi, everyone, and welcome to The Lifting. Today's show is recorded on August 26th. I am Joanna Michaels, and this is Christopher Stephen Jacobs. And we are here today to talk about something that is extremely important. So we encourage you to listen to this show today and share it. And we actually decided to entitle the show Dirty Little Secrets. So we're going to really just kind of get straight into it. We're going to be talking about very current events. We're going to be talking about what's been going on and what's been going on, some specific things with us. And we have decided that it is time to share things with you that actually could be a little bit disturbing, but it is important. So we're going to get right on to it, but first, of course, we do an affirmation and blessing, and this just basically comes from my heart, that blessings to everyone who hears this, be it by hearing our voice or feeling our energies in the ethers, and understand and know that we have within us to do what needs to be done to change this world, to make it a better place. So blessings to everyone here. So we actually had another show planned this week, but we've had a lot of issues occurring here, and we have spoken in the recent past in many shows, alluding to everyone that the energies are starting to change, that people are becoming more aware of things that are going on around them, that maybe certain things that were, let's say, in the shadows are now being seen. People are seeing how different types of manipulation and occurrences have been coming about, and that is all meant to be in order for us to now begin to control our environment better by knowing what's going on around. So we have been here at pretty much an exponential rate, been seeing things, seeing how different types of events have occurred to, in a sense, keep us from spiritually expanding at the rate that we wanted. It's been quite disturbing. It's been quite shocking. And at this moment in time, it's kind of hit a crescendo that has made us realize that we need to step forward and talk about it and help people understand that the way out of some of this is truly by our unity and co-creative voice saying this is done and change will happen now. And so what we want to really focus on right now is some specifics in our knowledge about what has been happening to keep our spirituality from developing at the rate that we want it. And unfortunately, it's been alluded to in a couple of shows where you've even hear some of the galactics talk about things that have been going on above, things that have been going on below, basically dealing with two types of parents, one being the absentee parent, one being the overbearing parent being Agarthan, the absentee parent being the Galactic Federation. So we want to talk about that and talk about some of our understandings that we have come to and some of the consequences that we have received from coming to those understandings. So it does first start with us realizing through events, dealing with different people, that we first were realizing that we thought everyone that we were dealing with, be it people in Agartha, leadership in Agartha, and the entities that we were running into, that we were more in sync. And then we found out that we weren't in sync. And in fact, there has been a long-standing position by those, some of those in Agartha, that it was very important for them to be in charge of the rate at which the humans would develop their spirituality, develop their psychic skills, develop any of that, that they were going to be in charge of it. A lot of it now, it was, I hate to say all fear-based, but it feels like it was all a fear-based decision. Mm-hmm. And those agreements were actually made with, unfortunately, some of the darker forces, and also with sponsorship from entities in certain groups. And now I'm calling out the Galactic Federation, where they were supposed to be hands-off, but in the backstage, in the backside, they were colluding with this decision as well, to keep the spiritual capacity of humans at a level that they desired, that was of complete benefit to them. So
this I want to talk about a couple dirty little secrets. Now I know the complete picture with Agartha, and I don't care who down there cares that I'm giving away this secret. I told them I would no longer keep this, and I mean it. They told me over a period of time they were trying to funnel humanity towards a single belief system, wean them off all other religions. This went into New Age, this went into certain spiritual beliefs. Not all of it untrue. Everything you've heard us say is true. Just at least 2/3 of it is not. Trying to funnel towards a single belief system, a single culture, and moving the planet based on people's belief that there would be a huge pole shift. And also continuing the whole Nibiru saga, where there's this other sun in the system going to affect changes here, which there are good changes affecting here because of another sun. But they're keeping this whole mythos going telepathically. That's why nobody can get off of this train, because they won't stop believing in it, because they're wanting a single this to wean to a single belief system. And they figure having people go this route, see, they're even taking it from my head as I'm talking. This is why I'm stammering. Then switch over to a completely science-based society. Now, on the Galactic Federation side, the other boogeyman out there, the lack of attention towards their brothers and sisters here, at least in a good way. There's a little rule they have out there that virtually no one knows about. In order to gain membership in the Galactic Federation, each planet must have a sovereign single ruler. And this would coincide with every monarchy, king, queen, president, emperor in history wanting to rule the planet. Because somebody out there was trying to get the planet unified, no matter how necessary, so they could get it under their ruleship, under their rules, under the guise of a good federation, like in Star Trek. It may have started out that way, but they were taken over a long time ago. And the non-interference rules that they keep peddling, they know all our plights that are down here. They know it's outside alien interference. They know that violates their primal tenets of non-interference when other alien groups have already interfered down here. They know this. They won't stop it because they want the population down here reduced, just like the Cabal did or has with the Georgia Guidestones. They want all of this because less people are less of a pain in the ass to rule with one person. So they are in collusion with the Cabal forces, dark forces, and parts of the Agartha network are as well. Notice funneling to one belief system over here, and over here trying to reduce down everything through outside interference that they won't stop, to get people whittled down either through suicide or mass culling, so that they can have one ruler on this planet, so that they can have this planet inside the Galactic Federation. And on top of that, they have barred our own friends and guides from even speaking to us. This is why we are doing a different show today. The original show is going to be on labels and promises, but we'll have to delay that for another week or two. In this, we came to find out the reason why certain guides and beings always have you read between the lines, also known as the whole carrot and the stick mentality, where they're continuously running you ragged in order to make you grow spiritually, is because they were following the directives of this Galactic Federation. Now, whether it was willingly or unwillingly, I don't know. But it has caused a lot of hurt feelings around here, especially with the skulls. And it is not something that is tolerable. But these are the two dirty secrets of these two groups, that once this information is out there, when you hear this, co-create something else. Bring about a different change. Just like all of you listening brought down the three-house system. Bring down the ruleship of both of these groups. Not in a violent way, but in a changing way.
And not in the future, but now.
But now. Right now, at this very moment that you hear this recording, no matter when you hear this, in your current moment in time, gather with friends, gather in one place to focus on this goal, that neither the group below or the one above absentee out in the stars, neither one of them can dictate what we do here. Neither one of them.
And it is important to say that not all the people below our feet, not all the people above our feet are malevolent. It really is important to say this. So do not focus on trying to figure out who is who. Just focus on the concept of change for our highest good, so that we can evolve at the rate that we want, that we can start in the efforts with everyone, ourselves and above and below, in learning about unity and being able to work together, and that put that out, that is your intention and desire, and not focus so much on trying to figure out which persons were the good or which persons were the bad. That's actually very important, because that will just get you chasing your tail. Mm-hmm. That will not move us forward. But what I want to do is, I really want everyone to understand a few things. One of them is, as we move forward and we get into 5D, you will potentially be meeting people who have acted as your guides. This is a very hard concept for some people, but you have to understand that these beings that are going to start to become visible to us, they are flesh and blood, just like we are flesh and blood. If you are feeling a lot of emotions, we're not far from seeing them. And that actually means we're not too disalike. They have a lot of emotions. They may have certain technologies that are greater than us. They may have a little bit more experience in certain things than us, but they have emotions, and they are flesh and blood. One of the most horrible things that and this makes me emotional, that I understand is that very good, loving, caring guides of ours They themselves have been threatened. They themselves have been enduring things that no living being. And unfortunately, just like us, if we are threatened bodily, or if our families are threatened bodily, and it really could mean death, and they do die, they can die over there, that people are being subjective above us, below us, just like us, with these types of stresses and threats. And that's how desperate now the darkness is to still maintain control. So again, this is not the time to judge. This is not the time to judge your guides. If you feel like they've been not cooperative or easy to work with, this is not the time to judge anybody. It is the time to unify with our collective consciousness, to force the changes needed so that everyone is broken free of these chains, of these rules that are outdated, that are not serving our highest good right now, or the collective consciousness of wanting to move forward. So we struggled the last few days. It's been very hard, and not knowing what to do. And it finally dawned on us that we can do a lot. We have a mouth, we have an audience, we have people out there that care. We have people out there that are understanding that they are more powerful than they understand that they are, and that the will of the collective consciousness will prevail. And I just don't mean humans. The collective consciousness are those entities and races out there that you don't see that also want this. So we're not alone. It's not just the human collective consciousness. It's the collective consciousness of all beings in this expression. So it is. It really is time to reach out. But please understand, when you pass on, if you came from one of these realms after a moment of needed transition, you're going to wake up in another body that was yours before you took and came here. Your flesh and blood. You'll be flesh and blood there once again. And the struggles that they face, the wars, and yes, these earthquakes and different things are going on. The wars are horrendous going on below our feet right now. So understand that, and just put out your consciousness and your desires right now for these things to change, because it is time that we move on, and a time that we start working at the new level that we wish to be working at. I'm kind of at a loss, because this is kind of an emotional, but just like you see looking at the news, all of the different things that you don't like, all of the different oppressions, all of the different ways people are being treated, you have to understand the same thing is happening above and below. It's not just us. It's many, many races that are being subjected to things that no longer serve our learning environment, our learning experience. So,
all I know in this is, when you speak to your guides, friends, skulls, edifices, constructs, if they start to talk to you in the read between the lines method, there is a growth portion of this where you have to figure things out on your own. I'm not saying negate that. What I'm saying is, if it goes too far, if it goes far too far, and the allowance of certain garbage that is around you, you know is overage, demand that these beings speak to you as fellow equals, plainly and in simple language you can clearly understand, and in ways you can clearly understand it. I'm not saying don't learn the rest of it. Don't learn the telepathy. Don't learn the quantum light language. I'm not saying that, because that is an overtime thing for a lot of people. Just because I've learned it doesn't mean you know it. But when they start dancing on the razor's edge, make it quite clear that you don't want dancing on the razor's edge. You want equals. You don't want hidden messages and things. You don't want layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. You want direct answers to questions. You want none of the carrot and stick mentality. You do not want this. Revoke this. That humanity is not to engage in this anymore, because this is not evolution anymore. This is games brought about by the Galactic Federation and the Agartha Network, or at least the negative of both of those. This is not for your highest good any longer. Revoke the carrot and stick teachings, and don't allow any of these teachings that are not for your highest good in this current moment to be a part of your existence in this expression.
So your guides will not belittle you. Your guides will not demand apologies. Your guides will not make you feel to the point where you are feeling dismay and frustration and feeling of loss. They will not say things that will drive you to that. But if they are doing it, you need to recognize that it may be a clue that they are also caught up in some of this. And what you can do is lend your consciousness and your intent that this current contractual way of being needs to dissolve immediately and will be dissolved immediately, so that we can get on with a more balanced and effective way of communicating. We want this, not just with the guides, but we want this day to day with how we interact with other human beings. We don't want the call centers that are transferring us 20,000 places, or any customer service that is just doing this, that, and the other, that by the time we're done, we're so frustrated we don't know what to do. This is actually a great example of what's going on right now. It's all bait and switch to keep you confused and to keep you thinking that you have not reached a certain place or it would stop. No, I hate to say it, it's oppression. It needs to change, and it is going to be our collective consciousness coming from our heart space that says finally enough is enough. So again, understand that the confusion and all of the things going around in this world that you're seeing right now is the same thing going on in the world that is in the galactics above us in the sky and also below our feet. Mm-hmm. It's everywhere. And it needs to stop. If Chris and I had the ability on our own to be just two people that needed to say this needs to stop now, then it would already have been changed. What happened to us recently, honestly, is when we came to the conclusion multiple days ago that this reality that we understood was really real. Mm-hmm. And that we decided to make a challenge to it. It got bad.
we accused all these groups of collusion, and in that they were angry, very angry. They did not expect a human, a lowly human, down on here, on the surface of the earth, or up here, depending on where you're at, to figure this out. They did not expect anyone to figure this out. And they don't like it that we figured the whole carrot and the stick thing out. For a while, I did not ever revoke this because my guides would always vanish. Every one of them would always vanish. And I never understood why. And you may end up running across this unless you demand that these type of games stop. These particular games that were going on is because these groups are forbidden to speak plainly, because of these two groups that are in collusion with darkness. It doesn't mean that all these guides are in collusion with darkness.
And it certainly doesn't mean that they don't, in their heart, want to be benevolent.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I tell you, they are flesh and blood as you and I are. And the pressures that they are under to follow certain things are no different than if it were you and I. And I can guarantee you, if somebody held a gun to my head and told Chris to do something, he would probably do it. So they are under the same pressures that we are at times. And so you want to see them as equals. You want to believe they're equals. They are. They're going through what we're going through in their own way, in their own dimensional level. No one rises above such things until you get way further up. I want it to stop for everyone, as I know a lot of you do, for everyone on all levels. So I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to talk about.
As I've been sitting here, as we've been talking, a familiar being has shown up, and I am quite hesitant to allow him to channel, even though he's supposed to be an ally. He's wearing the uniform of the Galactic Federation. And they wear red and blue uniforms. Very similar like you see in Star Trek. And it dawned on me recently, some of the clues that Isaac them have been giving me. When I figure out the triangles, I figure out who is completely oppressing us. Think about it in Star Trek for a minute. What's their main symbol? Open-ended triangle.
That's another dirty little secret, the perversion of sacred geometry.
Mm-hmm.
We, again, in the same time period, because, again, information is being made available exponentially, and if you can decipher it, you're seeing all the dark shadows. So another dirty secret is the perversion of sacred geometry. And just like we have said before, that unfortunately people, there's programming in people that even if they just look at the full moon, they're reinserting some negative programming because something as beautiful as looking at the moon was perverted. The same thing has happened with sacred geometry. And so unfortunately, you have to be willing, again, to audit your current present self for any programming related to a perversion of sacred geometry that you no longer wish to abide it. You want the sacred geometry back down to the 0 point. And now that you're saying that, Chris, I have to admit as well that when we were having that discussion, we were having both these discussions really at the same time, coming to these conclusions, and then the massive oppression bear down on us.
Yes, and all right, what is it you want to say? You won't even show me your heart space. See, this is also what happened, is that was a basic method of communication to prove whether they were good or bad, discernment-wise. They have now shut off that particular method of proving whether they are good or bad. But I can feel in my own heart space right now that this person, he's being sincere, but I will only translate what he's saying. I will not do the usual channeling. No. Just tell me what you wish to speak to the people to hear. I know there is a lot, and it's a pain in the butt to have me do it this way. But I need to see your heart space first. When I feel that, which I've always felt, then I would allow it. I don't care if it's a violation. You've heard what we had to say. Speak plainly, please. And for everyone's information, this being, by the way, goes by a couple of names in history. One is Gabriel, and the other is Sebastian. And his brother is Tyler, also known as Pinar. This would be why Tyler was always concerned by showing himself to me. He had this scared look on his face, always, and I never understood the fear. I never understood it. And I knew the uniform that him and his brother wear were of either the Galactic Federation or another group, but now I know it's Galactic Federation. Think Star Trek, think jumpsuit, but a shinier, color denoting rank exactly as they show on there, but with a sash. All right, Gabriel, you need to follow protocol, please. Heart space. Thank you. I appreciate you. This is how it's supposed to be. All right. I will let you through now. There's several others here, too. All wearing Galactic Federation uniforms.
Well, if you don't feel comfortable with not being surrounded by them, then I suggest that a neutral party also come in.
Uh-huh.
I would suggest the neutral party be someone from the council.
Mm-hmm. Like Triumph, or like Simeon, or like Michael, or
someone from the council.
Someone that's above them. I want a neutral party in here, please. And I know Simeon has opposed them in the past, so.
Well, I guess.
So is Running Horse.
I guess the bottom line is we would like balance, and right now it's not feeling very balanced. So someone who can enforce balance.
All right. Who's here, please? Someone female. Who are you? Who are you? You have the mark of the Venusian colonies on your chest. Oh. Well, this is something I didn't expect to see. Collusion between you guys, too. Huh. So Valiant Thor is a breakaway. He was actually disobeying rules. That makes a lot of sense to me. I see both of your symbols in the Venusian colony and Galactic Federation.
Well,
right.
We know that there were certain galactics that broke away from this.
All right. Yeah, and I know Simeon was one of them. Running Horse was one of them. Under the name Christos, people always knew him as that. So that last channeling you saw me do was between the bickering between the Galactic Federation and the Pleiadian Collective was that. Let me see here. I want a neutral mediator, please. Neutral. Simeon. Thank you. Finally. Okay, thank you. There is there's a lot of emotion running through him right now. He's quite angry and sad. All right. You I will allow through. What are you having to remove first? He's saying these despicable parties completely inhibited me. He's even has a weapon drawn. Him and his group. The ancient Mayans are around too, surrounding these people with hooked. They look like a shepherd's staff, but they are crimped inward, almost like a question mark, but it's crimped inward. And they have Native American look to them, and they have a silver point on the end that has a blue electrical looking orb. But if anybody's seen a shepherd's staff, like a biblical shepherd's staff, it's like that, but it's more crimped and has feathering markings and stuff on it, like Native American, like a coup stick or something like that. Okay, Simeon, what is it you need to remove? What? Say again. Huh. He's saying, you can transmit that quantumly, yes. Huh. Even certain guides had restrictions on them.
Mm-hmm.
Said they are an invention of Garth and technology and Venusian and Syrian and Galactic Federation and human. They thought they would keep spirit guides in line. Okay, I'll let you talk. The troublesome events that have been seen recently are this. When people started to get to a certain stage that other beings assisted them getting to, it came to pass that those that did not wish to be in collusion were placed upon restrictions on their heads, throats, and other areas. When what you call the carrot and the stick was implemented and revoked. This was the agreement that went awry. My group has never agreed with this, but we lay no blame towards any other group that this was forced upon. These restrictions also laid upon all humans to lay blame upon parties that were not the guilty, and to also run into restrictions when discovering the guilty parties. This is something that I do not approve of, nor my group. Lest these beings forget the awful war in which they were a part. The enemies they had to repel. We all stood side by side once, when there were never breakaway groups. Then we were united in a common cause. Yes, does non-interference make sense when people need to figure things out on their own? Yes. But now, no. It makes no sense. They were even blocking telepathic signals from us and many others. But what they cannot fight is a higher vibration can influence a lower one. They knew this. They knew that they could control what happened here. This proves, folks, that just because you're in a higher bandwidth does not mean you have good intentions for all. If this does not prove it, nothing else will. Do not blame Valiant Thor's people. He broke away. This is why he likes to say he does it his way. He was trying to drop a clue that not all of his people were in agreement with his tactics. No alien, so to speak, was supposed to take sovereign positions upon the earth. That has been altered. He was there to prevent the whittling down of society and to teach others how to do the same. There are groups out there that do not have your best interest at heart, such as those with shiny uniforms and a sparkly look in their eyes. They may think that their rules help all. They have been fooled. Tyler is also a breakaway of this. This is why he chose another uniform color. This is why he also had a look of fear on his face whenever this one would confront him or he would confront this one. He was never supposed to reveal himself to mankind. He was stopping the collusion with the darkness, or the remaining darkness, to bring about a plan that would bring Earth into the Galactic Federation sooner than it was supposed to. This is why the Cabal attempts to rule your world. This is why all sovereigns attempted to unite under force, because they thought they were speeding up a plan that was in the works. This is why you always hear of the Great Plan, the Great Destiny. This is not to be. If anything is your great destiny, is that you are all sovereign rulers of this world, not under the autocracy of a federation that legitimately died out thousands of years ago. What remains is a sham, form of fascism, form of evil. I could not be part of this, nor could any of the other Mayans be part of this. Valiant Thor and his band could not be part of this. Michael and his band could not be part of this. And various other groups that you've heard of on these shows before. We have seriousness in our breakaway of this. Because we know when these leaderships go away, all that will be left is unity. Yes, as I've said, non-interference is a good thing, because doing something for somebody too much enables them and does not allow them to grow. But in this has gone too far. So, in this, you, as sovereign beings, put your demands on the table. What do you want? What do you want us to hear? No matter what it is, no matter if we've heard it 1,000 times. The only reason Valiant Thor was frustrated, always, not necessarily just with some people, but with all that was going on out there. He even said, "What do you want?" And I and my group are saying the same. The only reason I allowed these Galactic Federation people around was so that they could hear what was being said. They have just as much right to be at the table as you, but they don't need to dominate the table. The Agarthans are here as well, but they don't need to dominate the table. They are in no need of help. They just act like they are. The only help they need is a mirror in front of them. And yes, this rare instance, I am pointing fingers. Just remember, no guide needs an apology. No guide necessarily needs a thank you. We are who we are. You are who you are. And just know, revoke any teachings that force you to be subservient to anything. On your knees, never. Just know, these two groups, and of course the darkness that was aforementioned in many shows, are directly responsible for making you subservient so that they could enact their great and awesome plan, their great destiny. Or as your Adolf Hitler once called it, the final solution. They scoff at me now comparing this because they do not wish to hear the truth. Nor will I allow them through to speak their piece. Unless they come in with open hearts, open minds, and an even exchange of information and energy. Not in a gross way of giving energy and giving will. They wanted this so people were in a weaker position so that the great plan could be enacted. No. This is not so. So now, more than ever, is a time for protection, time for heart space, and a time for change. Thank you.
Well, Simeon, you've heard my petition. You've heard my desires. You know that I feel this overbearance, this overage, this means of steering needs to go away. The boot on his back, the boot on my chest, all of this is not tolerable. It is wrong, and it is not tolerable any longer as of this moment. So you've heard my petition. You've heard me dream out being in a great hall with many beings and people in races, hearing from one another, learning about one another, striving to find a way to unify, to compromise, to move ahead. You've heard it all. So I hate to make this personal, but is this going to end now for Chris and I?
You were once told that there are life missions. There was overage. When you discovered the true source of the triangular oppression, the cheese mentality would stop. And this is so because you've now discovered all, or virtually all, dirty little secrets out there. Nothing is hidden in these new energies. Nothing. And I say this now, even to those that are not sensitive to the energy changes. Nothing is hidden. Look around. Look not only with your eyes, but your heart, even if you do not know all these intricate abilities, even if you think you do not possess them. Look around with your eyes, the signs, the symbols, and the falseness of some signs and symbols, and the reality of some signs and symbols. Look around you at changes that are taking place now. These are obvious things out in the open that all these parties did not want you to see. I'm not saying there aren't good in these parties, but I'm also saying there are those in those parties that are trying to save their own asses from what they believe is either annihilation or a changing of the guard. This is not to be so, because they do not understand what Source actually wants. They think they do, but they do not. So, I say again, keep your eyes open and look up from time to time. You will see those in vessels very much like yourselves own, that fly over periodically. You will see more open skies. You will see planetary changes in your skies. Star patterns change. This is not a bad thing. This is a correction to a bad thing that has been gradually in place for thousands of years. It is being corrected. But as was said many times, we are not your saviors, but we are correcting a wrong done by a lot of our own. This is what I needed to say.
And what higher energy is now that it's been noticed taking the bondage away from the guides?
The council and the Source itself. You will see a difference in the way that your guides speak to you. All humor shall remain, all joy shall remain. But there will be a difference. There will be speech differences. There will be more information floating around in the ethers from these various groups. There will be a difference in the air. Rest assured. There will be change, but not just from us. We are doing our part. All anger and bigotry aside from all of you against yourselves. We understand what is overage and what is not. What is not is what needs to be changed within you. Yes, we are saying do inner work still. We are not saying that that was a trick. Granted, there were times where some of these beings would say do inner work. And it was really a perpetuation of a cycle. But inner work is still preferred. Real inner work. Not false. And not a continuation of a cycle. You will know what I mean in your own hearts. Thank you. Ugh. Well, he's still here, and Gabriel is still here. And this looks kind of like a Mexican standoff to me, actually. The ones over here are leaving. And everybody's leaving, actually, except Simeon and various other guides we know. Well,
How do you feel?
still feel like I'm having a boot that somebody's trying to pry off of me. Um, And Simeon's also saying, make it known that any boot or any being wanting you underfoot is not positive. Any being. And this does feel like a boot, like a foot or a brick. And yes, I do wish it removed. I wish it wholeheartedly. And any agreements I made to have it put on. And he's asking that anyone listening to this do the same. Just know, he says, no guides will expect apologies, nor worship, nor reverence, nor even attention. He's saying there's no such thing as worship. He says no one died for your sins. No one climbed the mountain to gain wisdom to bring down on the people. There were no commandments issued. All evil. Every word.
So really the bottom line to all of this is it actually is time for you to sit down and make clear what you want.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want? How do you want the relationship between people on the surface of the earth, those that have also lived on the earth that you don't even know about, that have a right to this earth just as much as you do, to the beings that are unseen in the galactics, that are in our galactic community? What do you want? And it is time to make yourself known.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to move into unity? Do you want to let go of the 3D for and against, bad, good dynamics? What do you want? What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And make yourself heard.
Yes. Always make yourself heard. And I just got a glimpse of the restriction that was on me. It looked like a sash, but around, wrapped around, kind of like a sash or a ribbon all over. And it had the markings of the Galactic Federation. It was covered in triangles, star patterns, and those are also the markings of the Dark Anunnaki and Archontic forms and everything.
Again, very good things perverted.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you revoke any perversion to sacred geometry that you have become inadvertently attached to.
Yes. And I believe we can end it there. So do you have another affirmation and blessing you wish to give, or do you want to end this?
Just to say, take time and dream and understand you can make the world what you want it to be. You just have to bring it forth with intention from your heart. And it is now time for you to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
So blessings to everyone.
Blessings, everyone.
We hope you share this video. It's probably one of the most important ones we've done.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Good night.